The year is 1957. A new sedative and anti-nausea drug, thalidomide, has just been released to the market by the German pharmaceutical company Chemie Grünenthal. It says it can treat the nausea associated with colds, the flu, pneumonia, and morning sickness in pregnant women. Doctors and advertisements confidently claim it can be given with complete safety to pregnant women and nursing mothers without adverse effect on mother or child. After all, if anybody knew it to be safe, it would be the doctors and drug manufacturers who tested it, right? Thalidomide became a commonly sold drug, eventually being marketed and sold by 14 different pharmaceutical companies in almost 50 countries in regions such as Europe, Australia, and South America. Soon, women around the world are taking thalidomide to effectively relieve their morning sickness. Little did they know that something much worse was happening inside their bodies. Soon, countries start noticing an uptick in miscarriages, and women are shocked to find they are delivering babies with severe birth defects, shortened or missing arms, fingers, legs, or toes, deformed or absent internal organs, and more. Around 40% of these infants don't survive to see their first birthday. Suddenly, many nations are struck with this mysterious health crisis. Babies are being born around the globe with similar birth defects. Something was not right. As scientists scrambled to find a cause for this catastrophe, a pattern began to emerge. All of the women who delivered babies with these similar defects had taken the drug thalidomide early in their pregnancy. Soon, it became clear, and the link between thalidomide, a medication meant to help women, and severe birth defects was undeniable. In total, more than 10,000 babies were estimated to have been affected by thalidomide, and countless more miscarriages were related to the medication's effects. What scientists soon found out was thalidomide was a potent teratogen, a substance that causes abnormalities in a fetus exposed to it during pregnancy. These can include infections, health conditions, toxins, or drugs, such as the one marketed to pregnant women as thalidomide. It wasn't well understood at the time that chemicals in a mother's body could cross the placenta-blood barrier and negatively affect the developing fetus. Grünenthal tested the drug on mice and found no concerning side effects, even at high doses, before it's released to the public. However, they would learn that drugs can have different effects on different species. Such was the case with thalidomide. The chemistry of thalidomide. It turns out the active ingredient of thalidomide is a chiral molecule, meaning it comes in two different versions, an R and an S version that can affect the body in different ways. The R version successfully relieved morning sickness, while the S version was responsible for causing birth defects. When in the body, the R and S versions can interconvert with one another, making no combination of thalidomide safe for mothers to take. The mechanism of how thalidomide caused such serious birth defects was unknown for decades, but recently, scientists have uncovered how it does so. Thalidomide causes the degradation of many proteins known as transcription factors that help regulate gene expression. Think of them as molecular workers that control whether a cell ramps up or slows down production of its certain gene product that's encoded by the DNA. Thalidomide was found to degrade an important fetal development transcription factor, SAL4, that promotes the development of limbs and organs in utero. Thalidomide only caused birth defects when taken between the 4th and 8th weeks of gestation, a critical period where cell proliferation, cell movement, organogenesis, where organs are created, angiogenesis, where new blood vessels are created, and limb development are occurring. Embryos exposed to thalidomide early in this window had more severe defects or even death, whereas embryos exposed towards the end of the period had less severe defects. However, miscarriage and fetal brain damage can still occur if taken before or after this critical period. Because thalidomide is anti-angiogenic, meaning it prevents the formation of new blood vessels, it is also theorized that it may reduce blood flow to developing tissues, causing damage and deformation of them. The symptoms or defects associated with thalidomide use are collectively referred to as thalidomide embryopathy or thalidomide syndrome. Symptoms include early onset of osteoarthritis and coronary heart disease in adults, limb defects known as phocomelia, such as shortened limbs, more commonly in the upper extremities than the lower extremities, and a loss of digits. Long bones are shortened or absent, and the thumb is most commonly lost. Then the radius and the ulna last. These defects are often symmetrical. In fetal development, the lower limbs form later. This could explain why thalidomide often affects the arms more so than the legs. Other symptoms include polydactyly, where more than 5 digits are found per hand. Another symptom is damage to the face, eyes, ears, genitalia, heart, kidneys, and digestive tract, and even the vertebral column. The eyes and ears develop during the critical period of week 4 to week 9 of gestation. Such defects caused by thalidomide include microphthalmia, where the eyes are smaller than normal, anophthalmos, where there are absence of eyes, poor vision, strabismus, where the eyes don't line up properly and vision is crossed, coloboma, which is a damage or misformation of the iris, microtia or anotia, which is a reduction or complete absence of the outer ear, and deafness. Defects to the face include facial palsy, facial nerve damage, irregularities in the teeth and jaw, and a cleft lip or cleft palate. Damage to the vertebral column includes irregular vertebral spacing, progressive kyphosis, where the upper back becomes more and more arched and rounded, and the shoulders are forward. Vertebral fusion is another symptom, which means that the bones of the vertebral column fuse together. Additionally, thalidomide can affect almost any internal organ. Defects include malformation of the heart, kidneys, genitals, and the GI tract. Deformations specifically to the kidneys include horseshoe kidney, where both kidneys are linked together in a horseshoe shape, hypoplastic, where the kidneys are undeveloped or absent, or ectopic kidneys, where the kidneys develop in a wrong location in the body. Additionally, the testes or uterus can be completely absent or malformed. Inguinal hernias are more likely. Additionally, intestinal, anal, and pyloric stenosis or atresia are possible. This is where the openings to the intestines, the anus, and the stomach that are normally muscular sphincters that can open and close to control the flow of food and other substances are either narrowed or completely closed, causing blockages and many other issues. Finally, thalidomide has also been linked to an increased risk of epilepsy and autism. Thalidomide syndrome resembles many other birth defects, such as facial palsies, Duane syndrome, autism, radial dysplasia, Okihiro syndrome, Holt-Oram syndrome, and many more, making it harder to diagnose this. It also indicates that these other syndromes may be the result of disruptions in similar molecular pathways disrupted by thalidomide. The aftermath. Of the roughly 10,000 babies born with thalidomide syndrome, only about 5,000 lived to see their first birthday. Today, an estimated 3,000 thalidomide survivors are alive, doing their best to try and live a normal life. Many receive monthly support payments from the government to help pay for therapy, assistance to help with grocery shopping and hygiene, activities of daily living, and modifying equipment such as prosthetic limbs. Thalidomide was never approved for use in the US, even though they were greatly pressured by pharmaceutical companies to do so. An FDA physician and pharmacologist, Francis Kelsey, rejected multiple requests to approve the drug due to concerns about reports of peripheral neuropathy, long-term nerve damage, developing in mothers who use the drug regularly, and the potential effects on the developing fetus. Because of this, the U.S. averted a national health catastrophe, and Dr. Kelsey was awarded the President's Award for Distinguished Federal Civilian Service by President John F. Kennedy. Since the 90s, the FDA has approved thalidomide as a treatment for certain types of cancers, specifically multiple myeloma, leprosy, graft versus host disease, Crohn's disease, and even HIV. It is anti-angiogenic, meaning it prevents the formation of new blood vessels, thus suppressing the growth of tumors. This event changed the way drugs are tested for safety. It was found that mice models were not as sensitive to the drug as other animal species, including humans. Much higher standards of drug testing are employed today as compared to the mid-20th century. A resurgence of this condition has appeared in Brazil, as thalidomide is used commonly as a treatment for leprosy. Sharing of the medication with others without knowledge of its side effects, specifically sharing the medication with pregnant women, has led to this resurgence of babies being born with thalidomide defects. What happened with thalidomide in the 1950s and 1960s was a tragedy, but the lessons we learned from it were invaluable in terms of protecting future generations from the effects of new drugs. Thalidomide is mentioned in classrooms around the world as a clear-cut example of teratogens, how chemicals can affect a fetus if exposed. Today we know that many chemicals can cross the placenta-blood barrier and affect a developing fetus, making it crucial for pregnant women to avoid exposure to any kind of chemicals during pregnancy.
Wake up.